get started with the recording here. Again, Alt and H, the spot for the chat. Today is Tuesday, February 25th. This is the 5:30 show, it's the early show, as I call them. So we're going to be going over a few things today. So we're going to be doing online registration in detail, confirming drivers, duplicate driver profiles, MRP Online Tickets, MRP Dropship Apparel, and common questions. So let's get started with the online registration. So I'm going to go right here into my registrations. I've created a couple already. So I've done the yearly track registration. You can see all of the drivers that I have confirmed right here, all of the drivers that for each class here, see which one's active and the prices for that. I also have a single event registration. So to create a registration, go into here to add registration. We can do the yearly registration up here. You can only have one of those per season. This is going to be for the whole year. So drivers, this is meant for drivers who are showing up every race night. They're going to be there, filling that out, or the drivers are going to be there for more than one show, that sort of things. So you got that. You have single event registration. So this would be for a single event on your schedule. So really meant for more of a bigger show kind of deal. This won't add the drivers to your driver list. It'll still keep the information there. It'll still add that to the contact list. But the idea is it won't add it to the big list of drivers that you use in the entry list. And then we have a general registration. This is going to be used for a non-racing event. So if you have an event that you want to collect registration for, you can do that there. I've had people use this for bowling nights where they had a bowling event that they were doing and they just wanted everyone to pay for that. I've seen people use this for banquets. I've seen people use this for pit members. Really, it's kind of up to you on what you want to do there. So the question, if you can add registrations before you have drivers submitted to the track. No, you can add the registrations whenever you'd like. So really the thing you would want to do first before you add the online registration is go to the configuration tab and add all your classes and then add the schedule. But once you do that, you can do that, add all the registrations in, and then when you have the online registration portal up and ready to go, and drivers should be able to register online themselves. The aim of this is that we really want our drivers to register online because so we have their information for them and so we don't have to read the driver's handwriting. I've seen a lot of drivers' handwriting. Sometimes it's just not the best there. Not speaking for all drivers. I've just seen some, they're better at driving than they are at writing, we'll put it that way. When we create a registration, we're also able to add in, so if this is a single event registration, it'll add in all the classes to that that were on that race itself. So we can collect that there. We are also able to pick the classes that we have in the configuration tab already. So the ones that we have here, we can start adding in. If we've added a class, we're able to do that. We can edit that in here. So we can go into the edit. We can make it active or inactive. We can add a brand new class. So if we go into here, we can see that we have some classes that I haven't added yet. So we can collect the registrations for that. We can also, if you send over an email that you use for PayPal, connect that to PayPal. We can collect entry fees from here. So we can have a base entry fee. We can also have them pay an entry fee for each class, so you can add in the different classes. Same with the late fees. So we can have one base late fee across everyone or a additional late fee if we wanted to do it that way. We can put in the open and close dates on here. Same with the late fee dates. What I recommend doing if you're going to do open and close dates is put them, and this is going to work for tickets too, just remember that, to set them towards 11:59 as opposed to midnight. There are a lot of people that'll get very confused if you put it to midnight. I've seen it happen a ton. This is just personal experience talking that 11:59 is generally the best time to put everything towards. So there's no confusion there. We're able to make individual events or individual classes active and inactive as well. So if we don't want to, if we added one by mistake, we can make it inactive. We're able to share this from here too. So if we have Facebook and Twitter linked up, we're able to share that to our social media pages. So that'd be good. I highly recommend doing that when you create it. The more people that know where to go, the better. There are a few places that the drivers can find it themselves, but we want to eliminate a lot of the guesswork for them and make it as easy as possible for them to find it and register. This button right here will show that registration for that event. So we can click on registration, it'll take us right to our yearly registration. Inside of the settings, we can show off some of the messages that we have with the registrations. So in here, we can go, it's called registration messages. We can have a welcome message or a message about car numbers. If you have specific rules that you want people to know about before they register, kind of specifications, you can put that in here for that. You also put the terms and conditions here. This is what they'll be accepting when they say accept terms and conditions. My terms and conditions are the lyrics to La Bamba. But you're able to add that in. That's going to be using the super pages. So you can actually build these out here. This is what a super page looks like. The way I look at them is that they're a lot like Legos. So each one kind of is its own block that you're going to use to build out all of the pages or how you want that content laid out here. So we can have images, we can have a file download. If you want them to download the rules, you can have the rules there. I'd probably put that inside of the messages here, maybe even, and have that file download so that they're getting that. You can do quite a bit. So there's a lot of things that you can do on this page. So we're also going to do the same for our single events here. Same idea. It's going to be fairly similar. All of these here, we're going to confirm them. So what I mean by that, let's do an online registration. So right now, I'm actually signed in as a couple different drivers. I'm going to pick KL Trickle. I'm going to have him register for an A mod. It's actually going to have the information that I've used in the past to register this driver. So as a driver, he's able to select past registrations. So this is the information that he's filled out before. If he wants to do brand new information, say it's a year later, he's moved, we can do that right here and import the previous data. So we'll process it. We can see our class up here. We can see the name. He's able to edit this too. So you can put in his name, where he's from, email, date of birth, all of this information. He's able to add it. If he added in an owner, he can do that here too. Owner information will be added. There, so do that. All the requested numbers, emergency contact information, all of that they're able to add in. Well, after that though, it'll remember it, so we can hit continue. I just took a look over everything and it looks good. See our conditions here, we can edit it. This would be where they would pay for what they're, pay for their thing. If we did that, this would link up to PayPal. They could pay for that. They could agree to the terms there and agree that the information is correct. Then they can complete the registration or add another one. Let's just complete it. So it's going to send me an email because I put my email in there that my registration is complete. We'll see here that we have a pending one in our A modifieds. So we can see a few things about that here. He has paid. He's a rookie. He does have his own card. We're also able to confirm him, so we'll take a look over all this information. So this is the information that he put in. He didn't put in an owner, so it skipped that part. He's also claimed his profile, so it remembers here the competitor information. If for whatever reason we think that this is wrong, or they shouldn't be doing this, we can actually request a new one as well. If we think that this is not who it needs to be, we can put in the number here for him. I'll put in 13. And then we also have the ability to allow a duplicate. If for any reason you do need to add a duplicate, we're going to try to stop you from doing it just to help you along, but you are able to do that if you so desire. We can confirm him, and then he is good to go. So he'll show up there. We have the page here. We can view this registration form. We could print this out, and then all of you can have him double check his information, put his tax ID information, and then we'll have that on file. We can also add an owner here too. So if he goes up and says, I forgot to put in an owner information, we could do that. We could change the information in here if we need to do that. So if he forgot to do it, we also can change his class. So if for any reason he signed up for A modified, but he meant 410 wing sprint class, happens all the time. Very, very similar classes. We can change those over. And that actually works for all of these here. We also can add in our own if we want to. Again, I would recommend just having it be, the driver here, having the drivers do that. But if for any reason you do need to, you are able. So we'll search for our driver. We can put in the team information here. So that's all the previous owners that have been associated with Chuck Ground. Hit next. And then when we hit next, he's actually registered with me before, so it's going to try to save me some time and use that past information. But from here, we could actually put in all the information again. This is all the owner information. Save it. We can have additional information, so we can put in transponder, all of that. Let's put the check to the owner. And we'll assign him a number of 65. So you could add them in that way. So if you needed to add in a new driver, you could. We're also able to, if we need to, we can assign a hard card. So if you have hard cards and you want to assign those, you could do that. It'll also show if they have one or not. And you can see what card number they use. These invoices here will show if, so for me it was free. So just keep track of that. Just keep track of their PayPal emails as well. So if you're using that for the PayPal account, it'll do that for you. If we need to print out those forms that I showed you, we could do them all individually. If we wanted to, we could also export these. So we could export all the confirmed ones out to Excel or print out all the confirmed ones. So all the ones that we went through and said that they were good, we could do that, print them all out here, and then we'd have it. So that would be a little bit more into the online registration. The last one here, I'll create one. We'll create a general registration. This one's going to be a little bit more straightforward. So we'll just have our title here. Sample general registration. We can put in our fees, open dates, things like that. We'll add it. When we add in any new registration, it gives us some time to look it over before we set it live. So we can set that live here. That's going to be in the edit button spot. So when we hit edit, it'll be there. these general registrations won't link to anything. We'll just have all the people, we can have them pay and we can have some basic information about it. So if we were to do a general one, it'll just ask for straightforward name, everything there. That's pretty much it. So this is pretty useful for things where they're not actually drivers, they're not racing, but you still need to get address information, name, and you'd still like them to pay. You still have that there. It'll also sort all of your registrations too. So all of these are going to be sorted by close time. So when they close, soonest, more towards the top. It's also going to sort by type. So yearly registration will always go to the top, then event registrations, then general registrations. And then from there, if you have multiple, it'll go by close date. So that would be sort of that process, also the confirming drivers process. If you have any questions in Alt and H, the spot to do that. I know we have some questions here that I'll be getting to when we get to the questions part of it. I see those. You also, if you don't want to ask the question in public, inside the chat window, you also have the option to put the to, and you can put it just to me, so only I see it. And if you do that, I won't call out your name or anything. So if you do just want to ask it privately, you have that option there. You can ask me. So this is your time to ask away for those. So we're going to move on to duplicate driver profiles. So there's a format there that I would like those driver, if you find a duplicate driver, there's a format that I'd like those in, if you would. So this is my good driver. I created one last night. I believe I Z'd him out. Nope, I didn't. Okay. So these are my duplicate drivers. I made these ones myself. So this is my good driver. You can see he has information on him. This one is not. He's a bad driver. You'll also be able to see those inside of the race management. So if we went into the race itself and we searched for them, you'd see both. So if you've ever find these and you want to report them, report those to me. All you would need to do is just send these links and tell me which one is good and which one is bad. So if you send them in the format of good, and then you put this link, and then you send me one that says bad, and you send me this link, and if you find any other ones, send those all in the same, so I know who's linked to whom. That would be ideal. So that would be where we would go for that. So if you do find those, let me know. You might also notice that there are drivers here that are Z'd out. So if you look here, these are all drivers that are awaiting being merged. So if you find that you have a Z'd out driver, don't add them in. If they have more than one Z in their name, so if they have a couple of Z's in their first and last name, they are a duplicate driver that's awaiting being merged. We are processing all of those. So don't add them in. If you can help it. If you find that they have a card and it has a Z'd out profile, just ask to take that card. That's a bad card, and we'll move it. They generally will have a correct card, and we'll correct that over for them. Duplicate drivers, again, best way to avoid having those is to use the barcode scanner feature. So have the drivers claim their profile, log into the app, scan them. That way you can avoid searching for drivers if at all possible. You really do want to avoid using this one. Really just use it as a last resort. And if you're searching for those, search for last name first. So you do it that way. So last name first, that way you can get through sort of name variations like Phil or Philip Pheasant. You want to make sure that they're consistent with their naming there. And I know some drivers are pretty bad at that. So you want to make sure that they avoid that, having the barcode scanning. Make sure that you have that same person every time. Don't be afraid to report those duplicate drivers to me as well. I'm always happy to correct them if you see them in the system. So I will correct them, find them, and kick them out of the list for you and move all the results over. So yeah, happy to do that. So just email in. You're going to email those into the format that I discussed there with the good and the link, the bad and the link, then so on and so forth. You can email those to support@myracepass.com. Again, support@myracepass.com. For those duplicate drivers, just say that they are duplicate drivers. We'll go through them. If I have any questions about them, I will ask more in that email chain. All right. So MRP Online Tickets. So let's set up some tickets. I'm going to go into a date into the future. Let's do April the 3rd. And so inside of here, we can add in our names. All of this, if we didn't do that when we added it in initially. So we can put all this information in. I do recommend having more information on this, the better. This shows up a lot of different places, as well as on the app and a few other places there. So you want to make sure that this information is filled out. Add in those descriptions before you do that. Let's focus on the tickets here. Yep. So I changed the name. It'll ask me if I want to save, but then we'll add in our tickets. We'll take a look at the ticket screen right now. There we go. So here we have when the tickets are available till, so when they can buy them. I do a pre-sale. So let's say that I want to reward folks who buy them before Friday the 13th at 5:50 p.m. I'll set them to start selling the day before, so they're ready now. We can set them till they're available until midnight the day before the race. We also can set the type, so we can change this here, these names. So it'll be the same type, but if we ever need to change it, we could. A lot of the one I see is for the kids. They do kids 10 and up, or something to that effect, whichever one works for you there. A lot of different options here, and these are very customizable. You can set them however you want, but what you do need to do is set the availability for those. Then you can set the price for the tickets. This isn't a real racetrack, so I'm going to make mine a lot higher priced. I just don't want anybody to accidentally buy them. This will go live, so I'll put in our prices and our availability. So when some people ask when they put these in, what should they put down as their availability? Really, that's going to be up to you. How many you can sell. Granted, if you put in a number, I say to put in whatever your maximum capacity is, then you have the good problems. So you have that there. Add that in. Those tickets are added in. So we have that event done. We can go to the next event on that schedule. We're also able to share this out to Facebook and Twitter right from here. Recommend doing that. So the more that you share out, the more that you let the world know that the tickets are available for sale, the more people will buy them. It's a lot harder for people to buy things they don't know that they can buy. So I'm going to go into the big race here. So we're going to look at so we have this option available. This button right here, edit ticket status, we would use the night of the race after the race is over. We could edit the ticket status. It will text us a code based on that form that was sent out to us to collect the funds. Once we put in the text code that we have, we can put the event ran as planned. And then we get the funds dispersed into our account the following Tuesday after the event. We do that just to make sure that we handle any refunds, rain checks, or chargebacks. So we handle that for you. So that's why let's kind of head into there. We can see, again, we can Facebook and Twitter share that out. We can edit this information, make items active or inactive, add more, so we can add a poster to the event. We can favorite it or feature it, which means it's going to stay more towards the top even after we add in other events. So if this was a bigger show that we wanted people to know about right now, we could do that. I'm going to make this disabled so that no one will buy it from me. We're also able to see the sold tickets in the redeem window. So I'm going to go to an older event to show what those would look like if folks have bought those tickets. So here we can see the sold tickets. We can see the list of everyone that has bought a ticket. They will receive these as vouchers, individual vouchers that they're able to print off, and then we can either cross them off of this list as they bring in the voucher, or we can scan it in the redeem window. So here in the redeem window, I can see that we have some vouchers. So we can either click it and scan it, match up the ticket ID, or we can have a scanner. So we can use the barcode scanner that's available. We have a recommended one that's in the help and support section to Amazon. You can redeem it from there. You also see the tickets that were redeemed and who bought which. So the individual tickets, I'll pull up an example of one here. So you can see what those vouchers look like. Give me just 1 second here. Oh, gosh, I always end up losing things. I apologize for that. I believe I put it there. Give me just a second. This would be a good spot to ask any questions if you have them. I do see some questions coming in. I'm not ignoring you. There we go. So just waiting to get to those when we get to the questions part. So this is a sample voucher. So we have actually put in some coupons here. There's our policy information here, contact information. These are where you'd scan them. You could scan them there or there. They could print those off individually there. If you want to see where you could add in the coupons, you do that here. You can see that on my track, I have $1 off Pepsi Max at the concession. I have a spot for them to get the app, and then I've worked with a hotel for like a $10 off promotion. So you're able to customize those vouchers if you need. You'd also add in your individual policies in here, the thank you messages, so you can customize this out quite a bit. So you have a lot of ways to change that up there. For the tickets, you actually get 100% of the ticket fees. So my tickets were $900, so I got $900 for every ticket that I sold. There is a $1.90 per ticket transaction fee, and there is a variable subtotal, which is dependent on what kind of card that they use. That could change at any time. Generally, it's not going to be more than a couple bucks per ticket. I had a question. If you have to use the coupons, you don't have to. If you don't have to use the coupons if you don't want to, it is a different way to. You can put sponsor logos and things on those as well, and use those as part of sponsorship or sponsorship packages, things like that. It is just another option that you have, another arrow in the quiver, so to speak, for things you can do there. But you don't have to if you do not want to. But yeah, so you get the dollar, so you get the full ticket price. Drivers who have a plan through MyRacePass can get their own links for tickets. If they sell a ticket using their special link, they get $1 for each ticket that's sold as part of the plan. There, that does not come out of anything that you guys are doing. So the last one I will show off here. So we'll go into MyRacePass and we'll go into t-shirts. So we have a few different options here as part of our Dropship Apparel. That's what we have. So both this and the tickets are part of the rewards program along with MRP Live. So if you hit certain goals with the tickets and with MRP Live, you get, and with apparel, you get money off for next year's subscription. We have 2 different levels that you can choose from. You just pay for the design and we can put that up onto our marketplace. You're able to share that out. If you have a website through MyRacePass, it will we'll put that on the website for you as well. So we have a couple options here. The level 1, here's for 100. These are proven designs, very popular. We will customize this to what you guys, your guys' specific branding, your logos, colors. We'll match up the cars with what you guys race with. So if you were to pick something like TS13, you would just go for that. Say that you want TS13. Tell us what kind of cars you're going to use. Give us the logo, any sponsors you want to add to that, and then we'd add that up and ready to go. Same thing here. If you had something like the Thunder, if you raced on Thursday, you could be Thursday Night Thunder. So we make it more towards yours. So you can view those options. With level 2, you actually get to choose a car, and we actually make that more freeform. So we actually have a few different design templates, so you get to choose that. We use that as kind of the basis for the design there, and that's a bit more open than what we have there. Again, these all go onto the marketplace, so everyone gets their own store, so you can actually see the store there. So you get your own store here. On the merchandise page, I'm just going to show a specific one here, so we'll just pick here. So this is their pure design. If I wanted to order that, I have a lot of different options here as to what different style I want. So I want a women's tank top. I want it in blue. Buying it for my girl. She likes blue. We'll get it in 2X. I hope she isn't offended. We could add it to the cart and buy it. So if I was to buy this, the track is actually setting the price for these items, and they're actually going to make the profit for. So they set the margins, and then they'll make that for each one that they sell. So if they did, this side is a one-sided shirt, so I believe they make $7.50 for each one that they sell of these. A lot of different colors on this. You can choose which colors you want, which colors you don't like. If you just really hate the daisy color, just not a fan, don't want it at all, you do that. We also try to match with what would look best for your guys, but a lot of different options there. So these can be sold anytime. Really just push them, let people know that they're available to be sold. They're created and sent out as they're ordered. So you don't have to worry about inventory or anything like that either. So it's all kind of done for you there. If you do want to get started with that, just let us know. We'll be happy to help you out with that. Always happy to get things going for you. So we're have some common questions here. I'm going to open it up to questions, answer some of the ones that were that I didn't get to. But if you do have any questions, Alt and H is the place to do that. Be sure to let me know any questions that you may have. Always happy to answer those. You're also able to set them to just me in person. So I'm able to see those. And just know that if you have a question, someone else probably has a question too. So don't be afraid to ask it. So we had a question about what the super pages did. So when I showed the registration messages, so instead of online registration where I set up the different messages that I had, they wanted to know what all of these were. So this one is a heading, so it'll be like a headline. So you'd use that. It'll have a subtext on it, so this would be something that would be big and bold. This is a simple paragraph, so you can have a paragraph. You can also have an image to it, but this will have a lot more text than something like the heading. This will be a list of pages. So you can also do a list section, kind of a 2-bulleted out list. You can have a file download, so PDF or other sorts of file downloads. So in this case, if we wanted to add our rules, we could do that. This is a section where you could add HTML. So if you have the ability and know how to do things in HTML, you can take advantage of that. Be honest with you, I'm not sure how to do that. So if you know, you know. I wouldn't be able to help with anything of that. I'm not that gifted, but you can have an image gallery, so it scrolls through 10 different images there. Similar, you can have just one big image with a caption, and then you also have a blank section, which also kind of similar to the HTML section, has a specific use, and it's the kind of thing where if you know what it is, it's useful for things like that. So kind of in that same sort of vein there. Next question. When you share a registration, can you send it to the person's email that is responsible for the website, and can they put it on the track series Facebook? If you set it up to share to Facebook, so if you set up here to share to Facebook, it'll actually just do that. So you can actually link it up, so the person who's in charge of the Facebook can link up MyRacePass to it, and then once that's done, it kind of does that on their behalf. So once we were to do that, if I had a Facebook page, it would link it and share it to that person's Facebook, or not that person's, but your Facebook. So even if not all of you have direct access, you can share it that way. If we were to scan a triple Z'd card and collect it and instruct the driver to get a hold of WSOTA, is that correct? Yes, if they are WSOTA or USRA driver and you see that they have a Z'd out card, just take it, have them get in touch with them to get either a new card or see if that driver has another card already. It is possible that driver could have multiple cards just kind of running about. Racing starts doesn't have to be a specific time. The racing starts, does it have to be a specific time? We start after hot laps are completed. No, this is more for in general. You don't have to put those in. Some folks do, though. Some folks kind of pride themselves, or we start at 7 sharp. And best for sure have the pit gates open and when the grandstand gates open. Those are the two that I'd ideally have. If you don't know when that would be, or if you have hot laps, but you don't know when hot laps would end, you don't have to put when the races start. It's not gonna, you'll have a specific section for that. Can you email me a screenshot or a link to the scanner that you'd recommend for the MyRacePass? So if you need to find that link, you can actually find it inside of here. You can actually search for barcodes inside here. It's also in this section, but we have the barcode scanners, and then we have the suggested hardware. This takes it to the Amazon link. And then from here, you can share that out. I will put that into the chat. There. So it is inside the chat for your use if you so need it. It's also not the only scanner we recommend you use. You can use other ones too. We just haven't tested every single scanner that's on the marketplace. So, yep. And we do have a message. They do work great. They are actually really awesome to use there. So they are awesome to use. We had a question: if you get 100% of the proceeds from apparel sales, you get 100% of the so the margins. So you set the margins, and you get those margins. So some of the proceeds go to cover the creation of the shirt, things like that. So you set that to whatever you'd like. Some people, we have one that we recommend, so recommended price, but if you want to change those, you're more than happy to do that. This track doesn't have a shirt, but if you were to go into stores, product lookup, you could find your product in here, and then there's a spot to adjust the margins. And I found that inside of web management and in the store. You also can see who's ordered things from here as well. So I can see in the order lookup who has bought things from me in the past. So I can see these people have bought registrations and see my ticket sales, and I can find them more in general. But no, it's great questions. We're going to leave it up to you guys. If you have any questions, things that come up with anything that I've gone over or things that I haven't gone over, things that you have questions about from past webinars, this is your time to ask those. Again, Alt and H is the place to do that. Happy to answer any questions that you have. This is your time to do it. I'll leave it open for questions for a little bit. We have at least 15 minutes to go to do it. So if you have those questions, let me know. Also, this is the time here. If you do want to take or have credit for attending the webinar, please put in your name and what track you are with, and I will record that down as well. So we have another webinar after this in about half an hour, 6:45. That'll be going over the same information that we went through here. You are free to attend if you'd like. And then we are going to be starting it back up on not this Wednesday, but the one after. That's going to be March the 4th, the day that is also a sentence. And that's going to be going over a full race night using WSOTA, printing checks, cancellations, results, lots of things there. And then we're also doing a 6:45 show then too. That'll be going over to the IMCA portion of it. Continuing on that week, on March 7th, we're going to be doing a full race night walkthroughs on March the 7th at 3:15 and 5:30. So those are our first Saturday shows. Then March 10th, 2 shows, and March 12th, 2 shows as well. So a lot of time, a lot of webinars yet to go. We are actually, I believe, halfway through, by just about half. I'm gonna ask away on those questions. Alt and H is the place to do it. You can also ask me directly in the chat. Here, there's the spot there where it says to. Instead of typing it to everyone, you can type it to just me if you don't want anyone else to see it. And I'll keep it completely anonymous for you. I won't. I'll keep it on the DL there. Otherwise, we're going to leave it open here for the next few minutes for any questions that you may have. I'll show another registration here. Oh, yeah, I'll write out those questions. Again, that's going to be inside of season management, inside of registrations. You have your yearly registration, which is more for the whole season. You have single event registrations, which are more for one single kind of solitary event. And then a general registration, which can be used for a lot of different things and kind of a catch-all for non-racing events. You can share these out to social media, so they'll be available there. They are also available on your MRP profile page. So if you were to go to the MyRacePass profile, you can find that right on the website. If you were to search for us, you can see all of my registrations are right here. Do one thing real quick. Kind of adjust the name of it. So I'll adjust the name of it so 2020 doesn't show up twice. There we go. In the race event page, you would set up a hot lap event. Does that transfer back from Orbits to MRP? Yeah, it can. So you can set up a hot laps, and then you can import the results. A lot of people just set up a hot laps. They put in the drivers. They use that to send over the full list of drivers and their transponders, and then some people import in the hot laps, some people don't. But if you stop it as a session, it will import it over. It'll have that section, that results. It'll have that available to add in. So, yeah, it does transfer back because as anytime that you stop a race, it's kind of neutral. It doesn't know what each of the races are or what importance you bring to it or not. So does it have to? Yes, because Orbits doesn't know what races you think are important, I guess. Kind of keeps things neutral. But that's a great question. Any other questions that you have? Alt H, the place to do it. Be doing those there, answering any questions that you have. Again, like I said, I'm going to close this tab. I keep coming back to it. Gosh. You also have the registrations here, so people can find it on your on the website. I would recommend sharing it out. I bet they do. People do follow you on your social media. You want to let drivers know that they have that option available. The more that they know, and the more that you kind of bring that to them, they can do it. It is faster than ever for a driver to register to multiple places, especially if you are a track that races with sanction that we're using. They already have to fill that out for the sanctions, so it should already be in there. So they should be good to go. If you registered a duplicate driver by mistake, so I had a question if the Z's show up in driver registration or just when they sign in a card. If the driver is already a Z-Dot driver, it'll show that. Essentially, the Z's is me changing their name so they won't be found in the system where they're found last. So if they've already been confirmed in online registration and they have Z's, that just means that we haven't got to it yet. That's part of changing it over, is that we change it to the correct driver. So if you see a Z-Dot driver that's confirmed, that means that driver was a duplicate. There's a few factors that I use to figure out who is the good driver and who is the bad driver. That might differ from what you think it is. Generally, I will go to claimed. So whoever is claimed is probably the better one. Whoever has the most results, things like that. Yeah, so if a driver is claimed and has more results, we're more inclined to take that as the good driver as opposed to a driver who might have done a registration. Just because there's reasons behind it, but transferring all the data, make sure that there's less to transfer over. Is kind of the behind the curtain answer for that. But yeah, if you see a driver that has Z's there, that's probably why. But to be honest, with the way that we have the registration set up now, it is going to want them to claim their profile a little bit more. It's going to link and know that. So if they've claimed their profile, there's less guesswork that has to be done since it just has a competitor that it's linked to. So we don't have to, take a guess at anything there, which should cut down on a lot of duplicates. Some people are pretty well aware of my stance on duplicate drivers and know that I've taken care of a couple of them throughout the years. Leave it open to any other questions. Again, Alt and H spot to do that. So I'd mentioned that there is that with the claiming drivers, you can actually see that here. We can actually register a new competitor and see what that looks like. So we can fill out, as much information as possible here with that driver. So that, it shows all the ones that they are linked to. So if you have someone generally I see this with someone's mom, someone who has sons who are drivers, she can claim both of them and register them both on her own. But it goes off of what they have claimed or which profiles they've claimed. So encourage your drivers to claim the profile. Real easy to do. Inside of here, you just search for the driver. And it's available here. So you just search for our driver. And then they can claim that down there, follow the instructions, and claim it. Does a lot of good for everybody. The more the drivers claim, the better. So we have another webinar here at 6:45. This video will also be available on YouTube for you as well. So if you have any questions or just want to go through or see it again, you certainly can. It's going to be on YouTube generally tomorrow afternoon, but it'll be there for sure. I try to get that before noon Central Time. So I'm going to kind of call it for now. Again, we have one in 20 minutes going over online registration again, confirming drivers, everything we went through here. Feel free to attend if you'd like. Otherwise, have a great rest of the night, and I will see you all Wednesday or here in just a bit. Have a good night.